Chapter 3. As Olivia navigated the boat upriver, she noticed the couple pointing out various rapids and the surrounding mountains. Malcolm turned back to her, his hands waving and signaling for her to stop. She pulled back on the throttle and maneuvered out of the main channel as Malcolm pointed across the river, whispering,
Moose!
He reached into his bag and took out a camera, attaching a large telephoto lens to it. Although Olivia had seen dozens of moose throughout the season, she was still as mesmerized as the first time she saw one. This one was massive, and its giant antlers glistened in the morning sun. Malcolm's camera clicked incessantly as he captured shot after shot of the wild animal. He turned to Olivia, his face featuring a broad grin.
This is the first time I've seen one in the wild,
He exclaimed before eagerly resuming his photographic frenzy. Olivia blinked, remembering the last time she heard a camera clicking furiously at a moose. It was freshman year in college, and she found herself with a cute boy named James, whom she had recently met in her general biology class. They were floating on the Upper Madison River in Montana. It was a beautiful spring day during the Mother's Day caddis hatch, with the sun shining down on them after a long, frigid winter. Olivia was more grateful for the warmth on her skin that day than any of the fish she caught. James sat in the back of the boat, idly trailing his fishing pole. James was tall and lean, with disheveled brown hair that glimmered in the sun. His easy smile and relaxed demeanor added to his charm, making him effortlessly captivating. Despite his casual nature, there was a thoughtful glint in his eyes hinting at a deeper intellect beneath his laid-back exterior. Olivia found herself drawn to his quiet confidence and genuine kindness, grateful for his presence on that beautiful spring day. As they rounded a bend, she noticed movement coming from the brush on the shore. She brought the boat to a halt as a strong, musky odor overtook her. A gigantic moose emerged, giving out a deep bellow before gracefully splashing into the water. She couldn't contain her excitement as the moose began to swim across the river, its massive body cutting through the current. James, giddy with excitement, put his fishing pole down and picked up his cell phone, taking photo after photo. Olivia watched in wonder, humbled by the sheer size and power of the creature. She was also struck by James's enthusiasm for the natural world and his willingness to let his emotions overwhelm him, which became one of her favorite qualities about him. The moose lifted his long brown head and peered up at his onlookers, then wandered back into the foliage and disappeared. The moose lifted his long brown head and peered up at his onlookers, then wandered back into the foliage and disappeared.
That was the coolest thing I've ever seen,
Malcolm said.
Did you get a good shot?
Zoe asked as she leaned over to view the camera screen.
Tons. Do you know that place in the living room where I've always said something is missing? This is what's missing.
Malcolm showed her a photo from his camera. Olivia couldn't help but smile as she watched the couple scrolling through the pictures, debating which photo was best. She pushed down on the throttle once more and continued upriver to her favorite tributary. As Olivia approached the river's bank, she gradually reduced the engine speed to a halt. The water rippled against the boat's metal frame as it glided to shore. Moving toward the starboard side, she unwound the rope anchored aboard. Just as she had enough slack in hand, the boat contacted the shore, and she leaped off, securing the rope to a nearby stump.
Wow, that was impressive.
Zoe said, applauding.
A pro move right there,
added Malcolm. Olivia's cheeks flushed with gratitude.
Thank you. I've had my fair share of experience with this,
she responded before hopping back onto the boat with flawless ease. She leaned in next to her guests and began her rehearsed spiel, one that she had shaped and refined into what it was today after a few hundred expeditions.
Before we start fishing, I need to review some important safety information. While this stream may be smaller than the Naknek River, it still has its own set of dangers.
Pausing for effect, she adjusted her hat and continued.
There are spots where the river is deceptively deep and has strong undertows, so please only cross where I instruct and never leave my sight. Additionally, it's important to be aware of the wildlife in this area. While I know seeing moose and bears is exciting, they can be dangerous.
Her hand instinctively went to her belt, where her bear spray was holstered.
So make sure you always have your bear spray and know how to use it. Safety first.
As she finished, she straightened up and clapped her hands together.
All right, let's catch some fish. We're all rigged up and ready to go, but if you happen to snag a log or break off, I'll get it replaced for you. Any questions?
Hey, do you mind doing us a favor?
Malcolm asked.
Would you carry my camera? We'd really love some action shots and, of course, the classic fish in hand pictures.
Now, what kind of fishing guide would I be if I didn't know how to take a photo?
Olivia took the camera from Malcolm before handing both him and Zoe a fly rod. As the two guests stepped off the boat and onto the grassy shore, Olivia grabbed her fishing bag and net and pointed to a large cottonwood tree up ahead. The old tree stood tall and wide, its sizable yellowing canopy shading the stream.
Let's start up there. Yesterday, we pulled a huge char out of that pool, and I bet it's still there. Zoe, how about you take the first crack?
With pleasure.
Zoe beamed over at Malcolm. She strolled toward the tree while Olivia and Malcolm gave her space and settled in the sun to watch. Zoe unhooked the fly from its resting spot and let out some fly line. The neon yellow line flowed back and forth as she cast with the ease of a seasoned angler. Olivia focused Malcolm's camera, capturing the moment just as Zoe placed the line directly upstream of a deep, slow-moving pool. The white strike indicator disappeared underwater in an instant, and Zoe set the hook with a slight twitch of her wrist. Her reel instantly screeched as the fish darted upriver.
Great job, Zoe!
Malcolm cheered, while Olivia snapped more shots and offered words of encouragement.
I think I've got a big one.
Zoe shouted when she gained control of her rod and started reeling in the fish. A few minutes of anticipation passed as she worked the fish. Olivia made her way down to her, holding her net firmly in hand. As the fish got close enough, Olivia scooped up the giant Arctic char into the net. She then handed the handle over to Zoe.
Congratulations, Zoe. That's a monster.
Olivia said. Zoe's eyes sparkled with wonder as she admired the fish's striking red belly and the white highlighted fins.
Wow, it's stunning. This is my first char.
Hold it up, I'll take a picture.
Olivia said, snapping some shots when Zoe proudly displayed her prize catch. Then turning to Malcolm, Olivia urged,
Get in there with her. This one's frame-worthy.
She continued to take a few more photos before it was time for Zoe to release the fish. Zoe carefully removed the fly from the fish's mouth and eased it out of the net and into the water, facing its head toward the stream's current. She supported its belly until it recovered enough strength to kick away and slowly return to the depths of the pool. Zoe turned to Olivia.
Thank you. That was remarkable.
Olivia's eyes glistened with joy. The sun was warm on her skin, and the sound of the rushing river was music to her ears. Moments like this were why she had become a guide. It wasn't just about catching fish, but about the memories. She loved being a part of that, of helping people create something special they could treasure forever. Back home in Montana, things had been tough, complicated, painful. But out here on the river, it was different. It was a place of peace and beauty, where the pain of the world melted away. Guiding was her escape, her refuge from her past. Moments like this, witnessing the pure joy on Zoe's face, reminded her why she cherished this life so deeply. The day continued with Zoe and Malcolm catching numerous rainbow trout, grayling, and a few smaller salmon. Malcolm even landed a smaller char, but nothing quite matched the thrill of that first fish. As the trio walked back to the boat, Malcolm stopped and reached for Olivia's hand, discreetly slipping a wad of cash into it.
Oh, Malcolm, you know I can't accept this.
Olivia said gently, handing him the money back.
It's incredibly thoughtful of you, but accepting tips goes against the lodge's policy.
I know. I wasn't planning on doing this, but please take it. It's the least I can do to repay you. We've fished all over with dozens of guides, and you've been the best by far. Everyone always prioritizes me catching the biggest or the most fish. But you made sure today was about my wife.
Malcolm held out the money with genuine appreciation in his eyes.
Please, take it.
Zoe nodded in enthusiastic agreement.
Absolutely. You made this fishing trip unforgettable, and we want you to know how much we value your expertise and guidance.
Olivia hesitated for a moment, touched by their words and sincerity.
I really appreciate your kind words.
After a brief pause, she hesitantly accepted the wad of cash and smiled warmly, tucking it into her waiter pocket.
Thank you.